hurricane, no doubt.
Hello guests, this is the host of the Silent Lounge, and today I want to continue the discussion on Killing Floor 3. I played the beta, I talked about changes it needed to make, and now I'm making a video for the developers at Tripwire Interactive. Are they going to see this video? If they are smart, they will, or will start listening to the community that has been actively making their voices heard through Reddit, Discord, and other forms of social media. Tripwire recently made a Twitter or cross post canceling the Killing Floor 3 livestream. They acknowledged that people are not pleased with Killing Floor 3 and are working on a detailed action plan to address it. Killing Floor 3 has less than a month before it releases, and it's impossible to resolve all its problems within that time frame. That's why I'm hoping that Tripwire Interactive delays the game. I've read multiple comments from the previous video, and surprisingly, numerous people want Tripwire to cancel Killing Floor 3. While I do not like many aspects of Killing Floor 3, I do not believe it deserves to be cancelled. Nobody wins when a game gets cancelled. The players miss out on an experience, and a publisher loses money and will have to let people go. It is not our fault that these publishers and devs continue to make the wrong choices when developing video games, but we should at least give them a chance to try to redeem themselves. Hear me out for a second. I am not defending Tripwire Interactive for the choices they made for Killing Floor 3. Their choices are the reason we are in this situation right now. They chose not to listen to the fans and made the core gameplay of Killing Floor into a live service first-person shooter. No one wanted it, and we all said we didn't like it, so they gave it to us anyway. After all the backlash that came after the release of the beta, they canceled a livestream event and planned a roadmap to address people's criticisms. This is a great sign because that means that they are listening. What Tripwire Interactive does now is vital to the survival of Killing Floor 3. That is why I want to hear them out and see the roadmap. Cyberpunk 2077 had one of the worst launches in gaming, and then they were able to have one of the greatest comebacks in gaming. Can Killing Floor 3 have that same kind of redemption arc? It's possible, but Tripwire needs more time. How much time will Tripwire need? I do not know how much time they will need to make Killing Floor 3 the game the fans want, but I can imagine the game being delayed until fall 2025 or next year. In my last Killing Floor video, I addressed areas that needed the most improvement, which included the progression system, the gunplay, and the HUD. With those things in mind, could Tripwire fix these issues within a year? Yes, it is possible. However, money is a factor in this discussion. How much would it cost to fix these issues? How much would it cost to take another year to develop? Video game budgets have inflated a lot over the past couple of years, and when a game sells poorly, the studio responsible for making that game takes a huge financial hit, resulting in employees getting laid off. Tripwire is in a tough situation, and canceling a game is not an option. If Tripwire delays Killing Floor 3, the budget will increase, and there is no guarantee that the game will sell well enough to justify the risk. If they release the game without fixing any of the problems and keep it roughly the same as the beta with improved performance, the game will not sell well because the core audience will not be happy, and the trust will be gone. So, what can Tripwire do as a compromise? The best thing Tripwire can do is communicate with the community or the core audience and delay the game for a few months while also showing a detailed roadmap. The gameplay experience and the map layout should be the main priority, and they should use previous games as a reminder of how the gunplay should feel. Tripwire can keep the specialist but find a way to allow the player to choose what perks a character should have. The futuristic setting can still work, however using modern weapons from the previous games can add more flavor to the gun variety, and give players more options rather than only having futuristic Nerf guns. For example, the trench shotgun with Dragon's Breath would make a great addition to Killing Floor 3. As it is a firebug weapon, and it is also fun to use. The most important thing that Tripwire needs to do is acknowledge the core audience of Killing Floor and do right by them by making this an authentic Killing Floor experience. If the core gameplay is excellent, other people curious about it will want to invest themselves in the world of Killing Floor. Many mainstream games that have gotten popular over the years didn't try to chase trends. Instead, they did their own thing by knowing their target demographic and catering to their wants instead of trying to please everyone. When video game franchises try to please everyone, they lose their core audience. When I look at gameplay for Killing Floor 3, I see what corporate thinks a game should be. A live service first-person shooter trying to compete with the Fortnite or Call of Duty crowd. That's not what Killing Floor is. And it's frustrating that Tripwire doesn't understand that. There's a reason why most live service first-person shooter games are failing, mainly due to the lackluster content that is given during the game's initial launch. I know I'm going to see comments saying, but Killing Floor 3 will receive updates and added content like Killing Floor 2. And let's call it for what it is. That's a scam. I am not spending $40 to wait for a game to, hopefully, get good. Killing Floor 3 could flop during its first couple of months, and after that, Tripwire could close shop and leave Killing Floor 3 to die like most live service games. What happens with most live service games is that they fall off after a couple of months, and the number of players playing will decrease over time. I don't think Tripwire intends to release an overhaul that can change the entirety of Killing Floor 3 to keep people invested. These updates will likely be new specialists, a few new weapons or maps, and perhaps they will throw in a new enemy type. If the base game is not good, the updates and added content will not save it from potentially dying in the first couple of months. It is very difficult for a live service game to continue to stay relevant and retain the player population. It's actually not sustainable for a franchise to chase the live service trend because the amount of updates and added content will only keep people invested for a short period of time. Killing Floor 2 still holds up today because the foundation of what that game was built on is strong. To this day, I would boot up a match and still have a great time with Killing Floor or Killing Floor 2. With the amount of negative feedback Tripwire has received over the past week on the Killing Floor 3 beta, it is safe to say that we've done everything we can to make our voices heard. For the past week, I've been reading and responding to comments on my Killing Floor videos, and it seemed like most people are on the same page about Killing Floor 3. In its current state, Killing Floor 3 is not ready to be released. I hope someone at Tripwire will watch my video and the countless other videos on YouTube critiquing this game. People are tired of the live service cash grab.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
I made a poll on the channel the other day on if Tripwire should delay Killing Floor 3 or scrap it entirely. As of recording, 80% of people want to delay Killing Floor 3, and 20% of people want to scrap it. 80% of people are willing to wait for this game to be good, which speaks volumes about what other people think of the beta. 20% lost faith that Killing Floor 3 can even be good with only less than a couple of weeks before it releases. Tripwire, if you're watching this, Killing Floor 3 will not sell very well if the beta is like the final product. Please listen to us and understand that we want Killing Floor 3 to improve. We care about this franchise. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and subscribe if you enjoyed your stay at the Silent Lounge.